Canadian Seed Trade Association's Honouary Life membership is presented annually to an individual in honor of his or her significant volunteer contribution to the organization. This year's winner is Lloyd Dick, and I'm honored to say I'm staying at the program to read Lloyd's citation and introduction. Lloyd Dick is co-CEO of Brett Young Seeds in Winnipeg and has made his mark on the Canadian seed industry through running his company, serving on the CSTA executive, and representing the Canadian seed industry on international seed associations during his 34-year career. Lloyd grew up in the seed business, working weekends at Brett Young. Him and Donald Cooper were probably sweeping floors when they were 6 years old. Where his father, Peter, was employed cleaning burlap bags, bagging seed, and loading trucks during the winter and the spring and fall, and also helping seed and harvest crops on the farm. He took commerce at the University of Manitoba and then left the university to join the seed industry in 1977, 2 years after his father had bought Brett Young. One of Lloyd's favorite stories, you probably have this in yours, you're going to have to take it out, in those early years, is at that time there was only 2 employees at Brett Young, Lloyd and his dad, and one of them golfed in the morning, one of them golfed in the afternoon, and the next day they switched. That's how it worked. Not quite the same now. During that first year, or those first years at Brett Young, Lloyd did everything from answering the phone, writing contracts, invoices, keeping the books. The next year, he managed to start to help planning the construction of the new seed plant and became general manager when that seed plant opened. On CSTA duties, when Lloyd was serving as CFDA president, many of the services that the federal government had previously supplied to the seed industry was going to be cut or service fees levied. So not much has changed, Lloyd. It became apparent that if the seed industry was going to remain competitive and it would have to assume delivery of these services, so after looking at several models and with the support of the CSTA executive and the Canadian Seed Growers Association, he and Bill Parks presented their recommendation to the membership for the creation of the Canadian Seed Institute, which fulfills a valuable role today. So then one of Lloyd's most memorable moments, one of the cool moments, came during the Canada-US free trade negotiations, NAFTA. Prior to this time, all Canadian red clover and alfalfa seeds shipped to the US had to be stained with 1% purple seed. Pesky Americans. Lloyd was reviewing those documents that were to be signed by the President and the Prime Minister the next day. And he noticed that there was no mention of elimination of this requirement. So he called Bill Leask, and Bill got on the phone with officials in Washington, and those documents were rewritten that night and then signed by the President and Prime Minister. Lloyd's not only been generous with his own time, but obviously with the contributions by allowing the participation of other employees at Brett Young. So that's been very significant. Brett Young employees consistently serve on CSTA Board of Directors, in leadership positions at CSTA committees, International, ISF, Seed Association of the Americas, and in fact, 5 CSTA presidents, including myself, have come from the ranks of Brett Young. Lloyd and his brother Tim, through their hard work and dedication, have guided Brett Young to decades of expansion and growth. Another one of Lloyd's favorites, you're either growing or you're going, a motto that we work hard at Brett Young. To become a successful international business involved in forage and turf exports in 40 countries, professional turf and reclamation markets in Western Canada, and crop input solutions for Canadian and US farmers. Lloyd and his wife Jackie have raised 4 children, son Chad and Eric, daughters Jada and Callie. They reside in Winnipeg. And for your Manitoba joke, they have an ever-increasing beachfront property on Lake Manitoba. I'd like to leave you with one final story about Lloyd. Lloyd and Jackie's oldest son, Chad, has a learning disability. And when Chad was young, Winnipeg had very limited educational resources. They didn't have what Chad needed. But Thunder Bay did. They had the type of schools that Chad needed. So the family moved to Thunder Bay. Lloyd bought a diesel Suburban and began commuting between Winnipeg and Thunder Bay every weekend. So if you can imagine on those prairie winters and the 40 belows and the snow drifts and everything like that, and he's working back and forth between Thunder Bay and Winnipeg in that diesel Suburban. So that's the type of dedication that Lloyd brings to his family. That's the type of dedication that Lloyd brings to his business. And it's what he brought to the CSTA. So I give you the recipient of this year's CSTA Honorary Life Membership Award, Lloyd Dick. I think we read these out, and it says, in recognition of your outstanding contributions to the Canadian Seed Association over many years, this is an expression of the esteem of which you are held by your friends at by your friends in the Canadian seed industry.
Thanks. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you to CSTA, and thanks to everyone who decided I was deserving such an award. It's certainly always made me feel proud that my peers decided to recognize me in such a way. And for myself, when I started thinking about this, beyond asking Wayne, do I have to pay to come to the meeting? And Wayne said no. And I said, do I have to pay ever again to come to a meeting? And Wayne said no. And I said, how about Jackie? Does she have to pay? He goes, I don't know. So, you know, that a few words just like to say is, one, some people may assume that my career's over, so I would say not yet. I'm not going away, I'm just changing the way I participate. I'm moving away from day-to-day participation in the business and more into a long-term role in the evolution of our seed business and where it's going. So I'm not disappearing. You'll still see me around. I look forward to watching both this industry grow and to watching my business grow in the years to come. I continue to look forward to working with my family as my father did with me. So when Wayne informed me of this word, it gave me pause. I wondered, you know, what really was I going to say, or what was I going to talk about? And as I reflected on my career, and the most important thing I thought was luck, is that I am and I was lucky to work with so many great people over the years. And whether that's in the business or this association or in my family. My father, Peter, who died at way too young an age, was both my mentor and my best friend. There were many others like him, Lyle Parker, Ken Steinlawn, Dick Spear, to mention a few. Today, I am proud to be able to work with all the great people at Brett Young. There's some of them here today. There's namely Wayne, Daryl, Joel, Calvin, Andrew, and Corey. Just a representation of the number of great people that are there. I was lucky to be a member of the executive of the CSTA and serve in the same time as both Bill Eask and Bill Parks. It was their passion for this industry that made my time on the executive so much fun. But I was most lucky when it came to find my first partner, my wife Jackie. She's always been there for me, no matter what the situation, good or bad. So I thank you for the recognition, but in turn, I recognize all those people that I've had the honor to work with during the past 34 years. So thank you again, and thanks very much.